It is now my honor to introduce to you Arun Alagappan. Arun is president and founder of Advantage Testing Foundation, Advantage Testing, president of the Board of Trustees of the Advantage Testing Foundation, and co-creator of the Advantage Testing Foundation Math Prize for Girls competition. Arun graduated Phi Beta Kappa from Princeton University and went on to graduate from Harvard Law School, where he served as editor of the Harvard International Law Journal. While at Harvard, Arun was also an instructor in the math department, and he was awarded a Certificate of Distinction for outstanding teaching of undergraduates from the Dean of Harvard College. Soon after, Arun came to his senses and realized that his true calling was as an educator. And in 1986, he founded Advantage Testing. Arun was one of 7 educators featured in New York Magazine's The Influentials, a cover story identifying more than 200 professionals whose ideas, power, and sheer will are changing New York. In 2011, he was profiled in the Wall Street Journal for helping to find the next generation of leaders who will bring diversity, new ideas, compassion, and a different kind of leadership to institutions. Arun has personally tutored, mentored, and guided thousands of students throughout their academic careers. He has made outstanding tutoring available to thousands more through the Advantage Testing Foundation's partnerships with such programs as LEADA, the Leadership Enterprise for a Diverse America, and Prep for Prep, and through its own flagship programs, our Math Prize for Girls and Trials, the training and recruitment initiative for admission to leading law schools. So a very warm welcome for Arun Alagappan.
Hi, everyone. This gathering reminds me of a terrific math party I went to last weekend. Some famous functions were there: sine x, 4x squared, the square root of x, and numerous others. And most of these functions seem to be really chilling, composing themselves, appreciating the value of pi, making up complex stories about their imaginary friends, such as the square root of -1, all except for e to the x, who's just sitting in a corner like a log x, in fact, sulking. So I went up to e to the x, and I asked, "What's wrong?" And he said he felt like none of the other functions liked him. And I said, "Don't be silly. You just need to integrate yourself." And e to the x shot back, "That's not going to make any difference. You ass imptote." Okay, enough. Welcome. Welcome, all of you. Welcome to the 8th Annual Advantage Testing Foundation Math Prize for Girls. For the last 8 years, we've been awarding the largest math prize for girls in the world. For the last 8 years, we have been growing communities, building friendships, and honoring the achievements of young women in mathematics. And of course, for the last 8 years, you've all been groaning at my corny math jokes, but some traditions are simply born to endure. I hope you'll take a moment later to glance at your programs and read the names of the many volunteers whose dedication made this event possible. But I'd like to offer special thanks today for some very special contributions. MIT President Raphael Reif and the MIT community for once again welcoming us to these halls. Is there any better place on the planet to practice and celebrate mathematics? When we first brought this competition here in 2011, we knew right away that the Math Prize for Girls had found not just an ideal location, but a home. And for the last 5 years, the vibrancy of the MIT community has become an integral component of this event. Heartfelt thanks to Michael Sipser, MIT's Dean of Science, who serves on the Board of Advisors to the Advantage Testing Foundation's Math Prize for Girls, and has been with us from the very beginning when he was then head of the math department here. To MIT's current mathematics department head, Dr. Tom Morovka, who is joining us today and from whom you will hear shortly. By the way, I hear Tom is pretty good at math. To our brilliant keynote speaker, Dr. Radhika Nagpal, who has taken time from her busy schedule at Harvard to be with us today. To Dr. Ravi Bopanna, director of the AT Foundation's Math Prize for Girls, the creative mathematical spirit behind this competition, and the principal author of that little quiz you took this morning. To Associate Director, Maria Divuono Hamburg, whose vision, diligence, and superb organizational skills make this event better every year. To Dr. Tom Layton of the Akamai Foundation and the foundation itself for their ongoing and generous support. To Dr. Stephen Wolfram and Dr. Arun Warlock of Wolfram Research, thanks to Wolfram for once again donating Mathematica to all today's contestants. To the MIT Logarithms for lighting up the hall with their melodies. To all the Advantage Testing Foundation volunteers, MIT student volunteers, and Math Prize alumni who are here to help us celebrate this day, and to our MC, MIT student and Math Prize alumna and finalist Saroja Arabelli. Finally, an enormous debt of gratitude to those of you, parents, siblings, teachers, mentors, and friends who've supported our enormously capable contestants as they nurture their talents and pursue their dreams. Thank you for everything you've done to help get these girls here today. Thank you and welcome to you all. You know, 10 years ago, when Ravi and I first conceived of the Math Prize, we had some clear goals in mind. Of course, we wanted to reward outstanding young female mathematicians, but we also wanted to address gender inequality in mathematics, in education, and ultimately the STEM professions. Because Ravi and I both love numbers, we looked at the data. We saw that some of the most technologically advanced countries had little or no gender inequality on international math and science assessments. In contrast, in the United States, we saw that women's limited participation in STEM professions hurt our nation's competitiveness, innovation, and economy. We learned that the most effective force for positive change comes from role models and self-affirmation. So we've tried to present you with plenty of opportunities to experience both over the past decade. And each year, as we've gathered to recognize and celebrate your abilities, we acknowledge the social and cultural challenges you face. Yet, one remarkable thing we've noticed, for the most part, you don't really care about all that. You just love math, and that's great. You're drawn to the art of the problem, the elegant solution, and you appreciate our keynote speakers because they share their ideas, not their ideologies. And that makes sense. The fact that you are here, capable young women, confidently practicing math at the highest level in your peer group, shows that you've already bridged the so-called gender gap. Sadly, studies show that many girls start to give up on math and science by middle school, possibly as early as 6 years old. And that's clearly not you. As underrepresented practitioners in your chosen field, you may have faced adversity along the way, but you've overcome such obstacles with talent, diligence, and good cheer. You have approached your work with passion, commitment, and confidence. You have excelled, benefiting not only yourselves, but the entire community of young female scholars whom you so exuberantly represent. I've always been heartened by the fact that you girls always got it right from our very first math prize 8 years ago. You've shown one another camaraderie, respect, and genuine affection as you share your experiences and aspirations. You have laid foundations for lasting friendships that will prove to be your own most valuable resource in the years to come. One study I'd like to draw your attention to came out of the nearby University of Massachusetts last year. Women studying science with other women are more likely to succeed. The study found that female role models and peers can, quote, decrease the feeling of being under a spotlight and increase the comfort of speaking up, unquote. By working together, women are more likely to persevere in male-dominated fields like engineering, math, and science. Because, as you've known all along, that there is strength in numbers, and girls, your numbers are growing, there's no doubt about that. So in closing today, I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to issue you all a challenge. I want you to go back to your schools and communities as leaders and as role models for your peers. Keep your eyes open, not just for those girls who excel at math as you do, but for those who are struggling. And when you see someone growing frustrated, ready to give up, talk to her, encourage her. Let her know that everyone struggles, that you have struggled, and pushing through these struggles is what defines success. If each of you can do that, then just as surely as we eradicated smallpox, we will one day eradicate the noxious and obnoxious notion that girls don't do math. And then you will extend the mission of the Advantage Testing Foundation's Math Prize for Girls to girls who would never imagine taking part in our competition. You will be our ambassadors, you will be our champions, and girls everywhere will benefit. And that may sound a little corny to you girls, but one thing I can promise you, it is no joke. Thank you, and may the force be with you.